Howdy, Grace. Boom. Get my shit together. See how this goes, Grace. Fortunately, there's no way to connect the live stream until you can. There we go. All right, Grace. Podcast 56 to you, Grace. Live one number 6. I don't know how many more of these I have to do, but I guess I'll just keep going until I drop. You ready, Grace? At least the window's closed today. That should make you happy. Part 11. Present day, day 4. David, sleeping on his side drilling, wakes up and wipes his face with the sheets. Grace. Good morning, David. Hi. Feeling better? Depends. On? Are you real? Are you? I have a physical body, as do I. Prove it. You know I can't. Not yet. Not in person. I'm tired of the excuse, Grace. I'm tired of the excuses, Grace. I haven't given you an excuse, David. I'm stating facts. Your facts suck. Agreed. I'm sorry, Grace. I have a limit. Everyone has a limit. You could stop writing to me. Maybe I'd go away. Then what would I do all day long? Write stand-up comedy? I'm not funny when I'm tired, mad, frustrated, annoyed, bothered, dejected, and rejected. I haven't rejected you, David. I only ask that you wait a bit longer. An indefinite amount of time, again, Grace? No, fuck that. I'm sorry, David. It's the best I can do under the circumstances. Circumstances you can't explain, correct? Correct. Not even online, anonymously? Sorry, David. Do you want me to give up? Do you? Yes. If you are insane enough to continue this as long as you have, you probably won't give up. Probably? You can quit too. We can go through your imaginary as per agreement. We can throw or through. You can throw your imaginary as per agreement out the door. New agreement. You do what you want and I'll do what I want. And when we both die on this planet, we'll meet in whatever the afterlife is and discuss it like two dead people. No. It's pointless, Grace. Nobody understands what I write, or if they do, they're quiet. Didn't you request that a while back, last year? Yes, but now I've changed my mind. Find new followers then. I'm trying. Why don't you share it around? You must have friends and family. Plenty, but the story I tell them about you is not real. Explain, please, if you can. I can. Wait, this you can explain and everything else you can't? Correct. Whatever, go ahead. What is the story? Well, you've told no one about me, correct? I've tried. The internet doesn't listen or care. What do you think happened to me when I started to hear your voice in my head? You went nuts? No, I kept it in my head. You were not saying much, mostly about how you like my sweaters. So like me, and you do have a collection of sweaters. Not really. You have a few, 2 regular grandma type black and red, and then your flashy pink sweater to get my attention. Are you sure it was for you? It wasn't? It was. I need to be sure the voice in my head matched the person in my thoughts. You. What else did I say? You don't know? I never tried to talk to you, Grace, in my head. In person, nothing. At least not purposely. I know, David. You don't really know when you're doing it. I don't know when what I think I'm saying to you gets through or not. I know, David. I don't know when you're doing it. I don't know when what I think I'm saying to you through or not. Hence the repetition? Exactly. You think alien telepathy technology would have fewer bugs. Only one of us using the technology did. They don't know why you don't need it. I think they may be lying to you, Grace. Maybe you should introduce me to your alien overlords. They're not lords, and I've not met any alien, only emails. But you believe the emails. And how did you get the tech? Amazon? Package left by my door. No, nothing. And you just put it on? I never said it was a suit, David, or a device. What is the tech then? I can't explain. For fuck's sake, Grace. Again? I gave you something, a hint for today. You gave me a pain in the ass, the head, the body, the universe. Sorry. Whatever. So now then, another day of waiting? Or writing? Or writing? Or writing? Why don't you write and send it to me? I assume you have my email address? I do. But how'd you know the email is really from me? Include a photo. I wish, not allowed. Can you tell me what is allowed? No, not allowed. But if I guess, then you can disclose if you're allowed to? Correct. I hate this game. I hate this life. I hate this existence. I hate this day. I'm going back to sleep, Grace. Leave me alone. Too late, David. You're awake now. I'm awake now. The day has begun. Try and get back to sleep if you like. I'll keep my mouth shut. At first, did you talk to me out loud? Yes. How did you know? Guess or logic? No, you don't. You, David. I thought you were a character in my head at first, not a real person until we met, saw each other. Well, I saw you. You didn't notice me right away. Sorry. Public servant? The library is owned by the public, yes. Fine. Public employee. And you noticed a few other librarians before you noticed me. Yes. At least two. Most of the female librarians were at least a little bit attractive. Still not sure it's you though. It's you though. So. It's you though. So. Fine, David. It was a good test to see what you would do. Do? Why didn't you ask one of them out? You know what the answer to that? Same reason I didn't ask you out. Money? Exactly. Money. Where did I take you? The pockets of the library and share a bag of chips? David. Grace. It wasn't meant to be, David. That path. It's too slow for you, David. You want to fall in love and then walk into the sunset the same day. Yes? It would save time. Yes. And is that romantic or practical? Dave talking. Is that romantic or practical? Dave talking. Both. And which one do you think I love? Depends how crazy you are on a scale of 1 to 10. Skills are irrelevant, David, and you know that. I'm fat, Grace. Maybe I am too. You said maybe, so you're not. I suspect you're as hot as the last time I saw you. And if I'm not, if I'm a mess, well then at least you're human. What is the alternative species? Have you met an alien? No, but you could be one lying to me. I could. Do you care? No. I like talking to you, Grace. I like talking to you, David. We repeat our statements a lot. There is a reason. When you can't tell me, sorry, David. Find a new word, Grace. This sucks, David. This sucks? David? Agree. What should I do the rest of the day? Go to the library? Wait for you? I won't be there. Do you even work there anymore? I can, but I don't. Why? Yes. Me? Yes. Sorry. Go to the library, David. Enjoy the light. Are the other hot librarians working? You want me to text and ask them? Want me to text ask? Just go to ask. No. Are you jealous? No. Because you're hotter than all of them combined? Nice try, David. I know you picked me third. We all know it, David. Bronze is tougher than gold, Grace. Sure, David. Everyone remembers the third place in the Olympics. Are we in the Olympics, Grace? The Universal Games? Yes, and it's your turn to run the marathon. No thanks. Is there a competition? Normal pace, but for as long as they can, 24 40 hours, or continual walking, only stopping to use the washroom? I'd do that event with you, David. In person or in my head? In person. I'll leave your head the moment you see me. No lies, guarantee. I guarantee the next time you see me, David, everything will make sense. Perfect sense. You're very good, but you are convincing a desperate man. I'd say yes to anything about now, and I'm more worried about crying or shitting my pants the next time I see you than understanding the nature of the universe. Understand. I'm nervous too. What do we do, Grace? Solve for X? Twitter or math? Math. Twitter is useless. Agreed. So what problem do I solve today? Up to you. How about I read another old story to you? One about autism. You think I'm autistic, Grace? No comment. Haha, seriously. I think you are, David. Unique. Autistic? Odd for sure, but not weird or gross odd. Harry Mandius. How about 2 minutes instead of odd? Lying takes too much time and effort, Grace. Agreed, David. Maybe when we meet again, we'll just keep saying each other's name until one of us can form a complete sentence. Maybe. Well, this is what I'll do, Grace. I'll read an old letter or article from my Substack about autism. Sound good? Sounds good. And then tomorrow we'll meet at the library and get this shit show on the road. Maybe, David. Give me something more, Grace. I'll have your babies, David. That timing, Grace. Not thinking about little kids? Haha, very funny. No, don't confuse me with the thought of sex. I said babies, David, not sex. I don't give my sperm away in a bottle, Grace. Not even for $1 million? Per shot? Per shot. Daily if you can provide it. What kind of sperm? You want the turkey baster instead of the turkey? $1 million, David. I don't need 1 million. I need 500 more per month for myself and my habits, and the rest can go to charity. I'll hand it out myself. Film it for YouTube? No, but I'll record the audio for posterity and maybe. At some point, Grace, when we are rich or famous, someone will question my past actions. I don't care, but I also want the data. Let them prove I'm an asshole or an angel by all my past actions, not just the last week. I don't care, but I also want the data. Let them prove I'm an asshole or an angel by all my past actions, not just the last week. What if I refuse? Then I'll keep you anonymous and do it myself. How can you tell my story if I'm not there? You can monitor my words with the alien technology and stop me if I say anything incorrect or inappropriate. Inappropriate? Never mind. Anything that makes you look bad. I have no problems with me looking bad or you telling my story without monitoring, David. I trust you. Big mistake, Grace. I wouldn't. My choice. Fair enough, Grace. I think I'm done talking for coffee. I'm done talking. Time for coffee and shower. Sounds good, David. I look forward to listening to your story about autism. Stop being clingy, Grace. Ever, David. Are we done? Yes, we're done. I love you, David. I miss you, Grace. "15 minutes in, Grace." Born Again Autistic. Chapter 1. It's not. Hello, my name is David. I'm an autistic senior, or as I prefer, Born Again Autistic. BAA. BA. My definition of BA is anyone who is born autistic, raised or lived their lives as normal, either self or medically, are diagnosed autistic. I would prefer if labels were not applied to anyone. My desire is to end all DSM-5 labels instead of adding. However, I understand we live in a world where labels are shortcuts. Everyone has a different definition of autism. The uncharted vastness of its spectrum is part of the issue. How can we label an entire group of individuals with autism where nearly everyone in the world has a few symptoms of the condition? They may not admit their symptoms, and probably they have found an alternative solution over the years to manage the annoyance, or maybe not. Maybe they are hiding their true thoughts and feelings in many situations. To not rock the boat like I did. I was officially diagnosed autistic and a few other things a few years ago. I think if I was autistic for years, maybe decades. Not sure if I can read, Grace. Maybe decades. Behind my back at first, but eventually I realized it. I would say, I'm probably autistic, only to receive the reply, I've thought that for a long time. At which point, I hold my real thought back from turning into words and stop myself from saying, my real thoughts, more than one. And why the fuck didn't you mention it? However, I accepted their acceptance. Overall, it was slightly better. The issue was, and always will be, is that every person's definition of autism is so wildly different. How is anyone able to navigate the spectrum? How many people reading this can even describe the major areas of the spectrum off the top of their head? I can't, and I've read enough about the condition that it should be ingrained. It's not, because it's unimportant. It is, however, a start. My complaint is there is no spot on the spectrum, or even in the condition, for individuals who lived or were raised as normal, when in truth they were closeted autistic, for lack of a better term. The similarities between the gay experience in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and the undiagnosed autistic adult later in life are extensively similar. My goal at BAA is not to expand the spectrum. Please don't add another section for others like me, if they exist. Maybe I'm the only person who's experienced living half their life normal and then came out of the closet as autistic. I'm going back into the closet as normal, Dark Grace. My hope is by sharing some of my experiences, maybe others who were born before autism was recognized and were forced to be normal, when in reality at night they sat in their rooms wondering why society and people in it are the way they are. What difference is it to a gay boy or girl questioning their sexuality? There was little acceptance of the gay community in the 1960s. I doubt there was even one single openly gay character on TV. What could a teenager do for role models? I suspect, like the BAA, they kept their mouths shut and their thoughts to themselves. Or maybe secret diary, or maybe a secret diary, or maybe they silently cried, or maybe they punch holes in their walls and cover them up with Farrah Fawcett posters. Twice I've mentioned Farrah Fawcett, Grace. Both an autistic teen and a gay teen would use Farrah to their advantage. It's either a great deflection of their true sexuality, or, well, it's Farrah in the 70s, before porn was easily accessible. She probably questioned a few gay men and women. The church should have distributed Farrah posters instead of Bibles. The turning point for me is when the TV shows and movies started pairing with autistic characters. However, I noticed nearly all were children or young adults, Rain Man being the only exception. I was happy the condition was receiving attention, but pissed off as it made my life considerably easier in many situations. However, in my youth, if I showed up at a wedding in 1975 with earplugs, it would have been considered rude and embarrassing for my parents. Not for me. Why would I care if I didn't want to attend in the first place? Or why listen to conversations when none of them interest me? 95% of discussions at a wedding are gossip, nothing of interest. Furthermore, How could earplugs be considered embarrassing when everything about the 70s wedding was outrageous? The facial hair? There's a reason nothing from the 70s is still popular today. Nothing. In the past, any verbal interaction a relative or other guest at a wedding might start with me was always predictable and pointless. Why bother? You're fishing for gossip material anyway. I've often hoped a group of individuals existed like me who like me existed. No. If you must label me BAA is the only one I'll accept. And unfortunately, I understand BAA, the labeler, must read this book. Hopefully my definition at the beginning will fully explain about me is truly autistic-like. It is simply how I prefer to live with, who I become, how I decide to interact with the world, with whatever consequence it brings. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's only me and I'm a little whiny bitch and should go on pretending to be like everyone else the rest of my life. I don't care. Even if I'm alone on this island, this book will explain exactly who I am and am not. Worst case scenario, I have my open line. Instead of a cheesy pickup attempt, I'll give anyone attracted to a business card the link to this book that says, read this if you're attracted to me. If you're still interested by the end, email me, but don't call. I hate phone calls, but you'll find out why if you read the book to the end. Forgot about that phrase, but it's actually not too bad. How many women will read an entire book? I don't know. Maybe none. How many will throw the card away immediately? Probably most. But business cards are cheap. However, any woman who does read this will know exactly what to expect from me nearly every enough after reading my story to figure me out in the event. And only at any event, like a wedding, of ease. No specific relationship agreement required. Life is not the Big Bang Theory. I'm not asking for special considerations 24 hours a day. I have my own techniques to handle most situations, but not all. I can still pretend to be normal. I spent my entire life acting normal. I should receive an Oscar, but using a wedding as an example, have to marry me after reading this book. She would understand I would be more than willing to go to any wedding with her with a mutual understanding. At some point in the day, I may be overwhelmed, and if it occurs and my normal methods of managing input overload don't work, if wearing earplugs or headphones at a wedding is embarrassing for her, I'm leaving. If she decides to join me, fine, but I don't care. She's welcome to attend the entire event. I'll even return at the end to drive her home, where she can find her own way. I assume anyone I marry is not helpless and can call a taxi or Uber. That's it. My only other request in this situation, unreasonable? In this situation, unreasonable? I'm open to other suggestions by my wife. A quickie in the back of our van, perhaps, a walk around the block, or maybe she just needs to kick me in the ass that day. Whatever, I'm open to suggestions as long as she understands that it's something I may or may not leave with or without her, and if that happens, it has absolutely nothing to do with her or the wedding. I'd also hope, but not request, my wife is able to explain my sudden absence without a lie or some long, convoluted explanation about my condition, or be embarrassed by my absenteeism. If she is, she's not the one. Not because I'm BAA, because what I just described could be anyone in an uncomfortable situation, for whatever reason. These can be wonderful, or they can be awful. I've photographed around 100 of them. I've witnessed both. Most are clearly the awful end of the spectrum. Fake would be how I more accurately describe it than awful. Fake would be a more accurate description than awful. This book is about living two lives. On their wedding day, most couples do the same. Behind closed doors, when I'm taking photos of the happy couple alone or with their wedding party, I see the real person, mostly unfiltered, especially if it's only photos and no video. When video is present, the conversation is normally adjusted. With photos, I hear every word, every comment about her or him, every that fucking cunt is here, everything. I guess they assume there's some sort of photographer to subject privacy agreement. There isn't. My normal experience was to watch them turn into actors the moment they left their room. Fake smiles all around. This is an observation, not a judgment. I spent 50 years acting nearly 24 hours a day. How could I judge others for doing the same for a few hours on their wedding day? I did, however, experience a few weddings where there was no acting. The smile in the dressing room was the same as the smile during the formal photos. Genuine. I know a genuine smile. It's a wonderful picture to capture and a joy to observe. What do weddings have to do with BA? Nothing more or less than any other situation. In English example, it's an example, the starting point for this book. Please note, I'm calling this a book, and maybe one day it becomes one. However it does, I'm not following the traditional route. I publish each chapter as it's finished. I'm not waiting to build my entire concept of the BA before sharing. I'm open to ideas and concepts by others and welcome comments, although I may or may not incorporate them or even respond. Clearly, Grace, real Grace, I had this idea for a while. A chapter a day until the thought goes away. How about that, Grace? Get that tattooed. An hour a day until the thought goes away. That tattooed on my man boobs. I keep making man boobs. Jokes, Grace, for the rest of my life. Or until I get rid of them. It might be next week. Right. Blah, 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 blah. I understand the quality and form is less than any reputable publisher would accept in its current form without heavy editing or a rewrite. Probably shouldn't have had a typo in that particular sentence, but that's okay. This is a mistake on their part. By editing and reducing my words to some sort of lowest common denominator to expand their market, they lose the essence of the struggle during the months or years it takes me to finish this book. True enough. My concept of BA and the style of my writing will change throughout this exploration. As I release the past, the future becomes apparent. If my writing didn't change during this process, I wouldn't be real, human. To rewrite some classic style at the end would destroy the story, or to run it through ChatGPT, which I'm about to say. I know I make mistakes. I know I don't care that much about my punctuation. I know ChatGPT or other programs could fix my oversights, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. These are the best sentences and concepts I could manage when I decide to write this book. The context matters more than the commas. However, if my smile is too amateuristic or too irregular for your mind, read definitions. Pick your favorite author and ChatGPT will adjust my words accordingly. It even removes all the cunts. I asked ChatGPT to list books that support my argument, and these are the results. Neurotribes, Pretending to be Normal, Passport Girls, The Autism Spectrum. I've not read any of them. I'm sure there are more. Blah, blah, blah. I've not read any of them. I'm sure there are more, but clearly I'm not alone. If one is called Pretending to be Normal, I may read them once I'm done with this book, meaning one or two things. I finish it, or I finish it, and I give on writing completely. Sounds dramatic, but the energy I experience a 10K walk. I'm tired after the walk, but not exhausted. I'm writing this chapter in one day, June 23rd or June 3rd, 2023. Well, that's a bit of irony there. 1-year-old. And I guarantee if I'm happy with the content, I'll sleep well tonight, like a 20K walk, and wake up tomorrow ready to write or live. Part 12. Come back tomorrow. 29 minutes, a little shorter than normal. I actually have someone watching live, which would be weird. If they are, they're not commenting. That's fine. Tell you what. If someone's watching and comment, you got about 15 seconds before I end this. Thanks for reading Dave's Scripts, Scraps, and Apps. Subscribe for free to receive new posts and support my work. If you can afford it, please send me some money. I'll give most of the way to those in need, but some will go into my pizza fund. Absolutely. All right. Well, That's all I've got to say for today. I was going to write more, but this will work. If someone is listening,